The air still held that scent, a faint echo of lavender, and something else, something foreign, something forbidden. It clung to my clothes, my skin, my very soul. I tried to wash it away, scrub it out, but it was there, a phantom presence, whispering secrets I did not want to hear. I did not want to remember, but how could I forget? How could I ever erase what I had done? It started subtly, did not it? A small crack in the foundation I thought was so strong, so impenetrable. Jamie and I, we had built something beautiful, a life, intertwined, dreams, shared futures, envisioned together. It was supposed to be forever. My forever, our forever. Yet I strayed, I walked down a path I should never have even glimpsed, let alone ventured upon it. Felt like a dream. At first, a strange, detached reality where the rules did not apply, the consequences did not exist. A brief escape from the mundane, from the predictable, from the quiet hum of our stable, loving life. Stability sometimes feels like stagnation. If you are not careful, if you do not nurture it enough, if you let your own restless heart wander. I told myself it was just curiosity. A fleeting moment, a harmless flirtation. But flirtation soon became touch, and touch became something more, something utterly devastating. My heart beat a different rhythm when I was with them, a dangerous, exciting tempo that drowned out the steady beat of my life with Jamie. The person I found myself drawn to offered a different kind of attention, a focused intensity that felt new, exhilarating, like I was being seen for the first time in years. Even though Jamie truly saw me deeply and entirely, I foolishly believed this new connection offered a part of myself I had forgotten existed, or perhaps a part I was afraid to acknowledge. It was a dangerous game, a dance on the edge of a precipice, and I leaped without looking down. The initial thrill was electric, a rush of adrenaline that masked the insidious creep of guilt. I convinced myself I deserved this small indulgence, this brief escape from the perceived monotony. I rationalized my actions. I told myself Jamie would not even know. It was a victimless crime. If kept perfectly hidden, what a fool I was. What a profound liar I became to myself, and to the one I claimed to love the most. The lies began innocently enough. Little white lies to explain my whereabouts, my late nights, my distracted mind. Then they grew bolder, more elaborate, constructing an entire parallel universe of deceit that I inhabited during my stolen hours. I saw myself in the mirror and often did not recognize the stranger staring back, a person hollowed out by secrecy, shadowed by impending doom. The guilt was a slow, growing vine. It twisted around my insides, tightening its grip each day, each stolen glance, each whispered word. I could not look Jamie in the eyes anymore, not truly, not without seeing the betrayal reflected there. My own reflection became a stranger, a person I barely recognized, a coward, a liar, a deceiver. I saw the pain I was inflicting before I even inflicted it, a premonition, a haunting vision of the heartbreak to come. And still I continued, driven by what I cannot fully explain, a desire for novelty, for validation, for something I felt was missing something. I convinced myself Jamie could not provide. It was a lie, a cruel, elaborate lie. I told myself to justify my actions, to silence the insistent voice of my conscience. That voice grew louder, though a relentless pounding in my ears, a constant reminder of my moral failing. The secrecy became a burden, a heavy cloak I wore everywhere, even in our own home. It pressed down on me, suffocating me. The lies piled up, small ones, then larger ones, until my entire existence felt like a house of cards ready to collapse at the slightest breeze. Every text, every late-night call, Every fabricated excuse, every alibi, carefully constructed a web of deceit. I was trapped in my own making. I wanted to stop. I truly did. But the momentum carried me forward. A train speeding towards a cliff edge. I knew the destination. I saw the inevitable crash, and still I could not apply the brakes. The thrill of the forbidden was intoxicating, a powerful drug that warped my perception of right and wrong, of loyalty and betrayal. I told myself it would not last. It would burn itself out. A fleeting ember quickly extinguished, but it did not. It festered. It grew. It became a monstrous thing, consuming me, consuming us. I started to resent Jamie for their unwavering trust, their innocent belief in our shared future, their steadfast love. It made my own actions seem even more heinous, even more unforgivable. I hated myself for that resentment, for blaming the victim of my own destructive choices. Then came the moment, the inevitable collision of worlds, the discovery. It was not a dramatic confrontation, no shouting, no tears initially, just a quiet knowing, a chilling stillness that permeated the air. Jamie found a message, a small, innocuous phrase that shattered our universe, a universe I had already cracked open and allowed to crumble. I saw the eyes of Jamie when they read it. Not anger, not rage, but a profound, crushing sadness. A look that pierced me deeper than any accusation could have, a silent question that screamed volumes. How could you do this to us? To me, to everything we built. My carefully constructed world of lies imploded, the pieces scattering around us, leaving only raw, exposed truth. I tried to explain, to apologize, to beg for forgiveness. But the words caught in my throat, choked by the weight of my own actions. What could I say? How could I justify the unjustifiable? There was no excuse, no viable reason, no mitigating circumstance, just my weakness, my selfishness, my profound betrayal. The silence that followed was deafening, heavier than any argument. It was the sound of a heart breaking, of a future dissolving, of trust irrevocably shattered. I watched Jamie retreat into themselves, a shell of the vibrant, loving person I knew, a person I had vowed to protect and cherish, a person I had utterly destroyed. A part of me died in that moment, the part that believed in my own goodness, my own integrity. I became a stranger to myself and to them. The aftermath was a desolate landscape, a wasteland of broken promises and shattered dreams. I moved through it like a ghost, haunted by the echoes of what once was, by the ghost of our love. The house felt empty, even when we were both in it. The space between us grew vast and cold, an unbridgeable chasm. I saw the pain in Jamie's eyes every single day, a constant reminder of my unforgivable transgression. I wanted to turn back time, to undo it all, to erase the memory of my infidelity. But time moves only forward, relentless, unforgiving. It carries our mistakes with us, a heavy burden we must bear alone. The other person, the one I betrayed Jamie with, they faded into the background, a fleeting shadow, a consequence of my misguided desires. They were never truly important. Not like Jamie, not like us. They were a momentary distraction, a temporary escape that cost me everything. What did I gain? Nothing, absolutely nothing, but a gaping wound in my soul and the irreparable damage to the person I loved the most. The irony is cruel. I sought something more, something exciting, something new. And in doing so, I lost the most precious thing I already had, a true, genuine, loving connection. A partner who saw me, truly knew me deeply, loved me unconditionally. Now I live with the consequences, the weight of my choices, a constant companion, a shadow that follows me everywhere I go. I see Jamie. Sometimes we try to be civil for the sake of shared memories, for the ghosts of our past. But the warmth is gone, replaced by a polite distance, a respectful silence that speaks volumes. Their eyes no longer hold the same light. When they look at me, the trust has evaporated, leaving behind a hollow ache. I deserve this. I tell myself every single day, I deserve this pain, this loneliness, this regret. It is the price of my betrayal, the cost of my fleeting, selfish desires. I destroyed something beautiful, something sacred. And there is no way to put it back together. No amount of apologies, no amount of remorse can mend what I broke. I carry this burden alone, a self-inflicted wound that will never truly heal. It is a stark reminder, a constant lesson in the fragility of love, in the destructive power of selfishness. I regret it more than words can say. Every single moment, every single day, my life is now defined by that one monumental mistake, by the choices I made in my weakness. In my search for something I already possessed, I wish I could go back. I wish I could scream at my past self, to stop to think, to truly understand the value of what I had, before I carelessly threw it all away. But I cannot. I can only live with the consequences, with the knowledge that I shattered a heart and ruined a future that was once so bright, so full of promise. It is a heavy cross to bear a constant reminder of how easily love can be destroyed, how quickly trust can be broken, how profoundly one person's actions can impact another forever. The silence is my companion now, the echoes of what once was my tormentor. I am alone in this self-made prison of regret and remorse, and there is no escape. The sun rises each morning a cold, indifferent light, illuminating the wreckage of my choices. I go through the motions of life, a hollow shell of my former self. The laughter of others sounds distant, muted, as if heard through thick glass. I often wonder what Jamie does now, if they have found peace, if they have healed, if they ever think of me with anything but sorrow or disdain. I hope they have found happiness, a joy that I denied them, a future untainted by my selfishness. Sometimes a memory surfaces, a fleeting image of Jamie's smile, a shared joke, a tender touch, and a fresh wave of agony washes over me. The ghost of a happiness I carelessly discarded. I replay the events in my mind, searching for a moment, a decision point, where I could have turned back, where I could have chosen differently. But each path I consider leads back to the same devastating conclusion. My weakness, my desire for something fleeting, destroyed something profound. I tried to fill a void within myself, with external validation, with transient excitement. But all I did was create a deeper, more cavernous emptiness. The love Jamie offered was steadfast, true, unconditional, and I traded it for an illusion, a temporary high that left me utterly bereft. There are moments of desperate longing for the simplicity, for the innocence of our relationship, before everything changed, before I broke their heart and mine in the process. I imagine confessing sooner, perhaps. That would have softened the blow. Perhaps it would have allowed for some possibility of repair. But I clung to my deception out of fear, out of cowardice, postponing the inevitable explosion that ultimately destroyed us both. I still feel the weight of their silent questions, their unasked accusations. They linger in the air whenever I think of them. A constant judgment. I impose upon myself. I am not worthy of forgiveness. I tell myself not yet, perhaps never. How can one truly forgive such a profound breach of trust, such a blatant disregard for another person? Feelings, I do not know if I can forgive myself. And that is the heaviest burden of all the knowledge that I alone am responsible for this wreckage, this profound loss, this enduring pain. I walk through the world carrying this invisible scar, a mark of my failure, a testament to my capacity for destruction. I see couples holding hands, sharing intimate moments, and a bitter ache twists within me, a reminder of what I had and what I threw away. I watch there.